Good morning. Can I see a show of hands of people who drove up here from Clearwater this morning?
I drove down from Havana.
Havana. How do you? I didn't know there was a Havana, Florida. Okay. Well, I'm here to get things started. I'm Charley Tweat, and I'll be doing some music and giving the talk today. And for the song we're going to start with is called Ocean of Love. And for me, it's about the connection that we can feel in a room like this. And it's about depth and continuity and who we are. So it came through as kind of this kind of heartfelt set of words, but the music came through as a 60s retro tune. So can I get you to stand up where you are, and we're going to sing about being in an ocean of love, okay? So all you need to remember is surrounded in an ocean of love. Those are your words. So let me get you to rock to your right and clap, to your left and clap, to your right. And we'll pick up the... You might have to speed it up. Surrounded in an ocean of love. Surrounded in an ocean of love. Sing that with me. Surrounded in an ocean of love. Surrounded in an ocean of love. We are surrounded. Keep clapping. Look around the room. Smiles on every face. You can feel the peace. You can feel the grace. We are all in motion. Some things are apart, but life is working out. You can feel it in your heart. Let me hear your voices. Surrounded in an ocean of love. I know we are. Surrounded in an ocean of love. Surrounded in an ocean of love. I feel your heart. Surrounded in an ocean of love. We are surrounded. Resting in the arms of angels we just met. I can feel the weight is lifting if I only let it. Now I have a sense of how this life can be. I want to take this freedom home, so I'll take it home in me. Surrounded in an ocean of love. I know we are. Surrounded in an ocean of love. Surrounded in an ocean of love. I feel your heart. Surrounded in an ocean of love. We are surrounded, surrounded in an ocean of love. I know we are. Surrounded in an ocean of love. Surrounded in an ocean of love. I feel your heart. Surrounded in an ocean of love. We are surrounded. Thank you.
Charley Tweat, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for a treat with Charley Tweat today. He's doing our message and our music. And we're so happy to have you back, Charley. I'm Ann Young. I'm the Sunday service leader for today, so I get to sort of pilot this ocean of love ship this morning. So we just met Charley. There's a concert this afternoon, too. Right after the service, we'll take a little break. There'll be some snacks in around 12:30. We'll come back in here for this wonderful concert. And there's a table out there with all his music and everything about him that you want to know, all the trips coming up. So just stick around for the rest of the day. So let's see. Other people that are in service today. Dee Mitchell is our prayer chaplain. John, are you doing? Yeah, John and Phyllis are back there behind the tech doing the tech part. Rupali's board member on duty, so lots of people are going. Who? Barbara Gordon. There's Rupali. Good thing you're not on duty.
Bilocating, honey.
Bilocating, yes. So let's just take a moment and center into the energy of prayer and open this service formally with a prayer. For we are so grateful to be here in this sacred place, this Unity home that we love, together with our Unity family. And we know that the most amazing experience for heart, soul, mind, body, love is happening and will continue happening this morning. And we know we're each here by divine appointment. We're here to receive this gift that has been prepared just for us, each of us. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So there's a whole bunch of announcements, but if you just go to the website, unitygainesville.org, they're all there. There's lots of stuff going on. I'm going to hit a couple of highlights, but let's make this short so we can get to the good stuff. So there's a scheduled prayer healing circle right after the service, which fits nicely between the service and the concert and the snack, but it will be held in the YOU room down the hall on the right. So, you know, we all know prayer is one of the main foundations of unity, so there's lots of prayer always going on here. The March board meeting's been rescheduled to Tuesday, March 26th. That's also on the website. And it's on Zoom. And the Good Friday Project is another Zoom experience that's happening. It's by Southeast Regional Unity that are putting that on. So there's lots of Easter things, pre-Easter things going on. Just check in. And if you need help with that, ask any one of us, and we'll be happy to do that. So now I'm going to read the daily word, which is prayer. And the affirmation is, I feel the presence and power of God as I pray. In the revealing word, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore described prayer as the most highly accelerated mind action known. This awareness is my comfort and assurance as I release my worldly concerns and feel the presence of God. As I pray, I immerse myself in the silence so I can be still and know. From this place of deep communion, I relax and focus my attention on the divine ideas of life, love, wisdom, and strength, and order, which are always mine to claim. As these spiritual truths flourish in my consciousness, thoughts of my troubles and worries fade from my mind. In the past, I may have believed prayer was a way of asking God for help and solace, but now I understand it as one of the best ways of helping and uplifting myself. So from Psalm 46, verse 10, be still and know that I am God.
I want to use this song to go into a time of meditation, so I invite you to close your eyes. There'll be a place you can sing along. Let's take a deep breath together in. Sitting here in the silence, talking to God each day. Sitting here in silence, talking to God, I pray. I can call for help anytime, talking to God each day. I can send out help anytime, talking to God, I pray. Sing with me. I can call for help. I can call for help anytime, talking to God each day. I can send out help. I can send out help anytime, talking to God, I pray, I pray. Sitting here in beauty, sitting here in beauty, talking to God, talking to God each day, each day. Sitting here in beauty, talking to God, talking to God, I pray, I pray. I can call for help, I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day, each day. I can send out help, I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. Sitting here in peace, sitting here in peace, talking to God, talking to God each day. Sitting here in peace, talking to God, talking to God, I pray, I pray. I can call for help, I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day, each day. I can send out help, I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. I can call for help, I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day. Send out help, I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. I pray, I pray, I pray. Let's take a moment in the silence. One of the most precious things we can do is to simply stop, be in the silence, and reach for that divine connection within. You can call it prayer, meditation, or just centering. Maybe it's just joining in that consciousness, removing ourselves from this world and reaching into that God presence. And as we join that presence, we plug into something so much greater than our simple individual self. Let prayer be a way of changing things, adding your inner voice plugging into the infinite, both adding your love and strengthening your love. Pausing from our simple daily life to join the all. And as you add your consciousness and connect into that infinite presence, maybe you can reach anything, anywhere, beyond space, beyond time. Send your love where it's needed. Is that what prayer is? Sitting here in silence, talking to God, sending help, and joining in that love of the infinite. What a way to receive a gift and give one. Sitting here in silence, talking to God. And so we do. Love has always been here for you. Sing that with me. Love has always been here for you. For me. Love has always been here for me. Love has always been here for me. Love has always been here for you. Feel those arms that wrap around you. Everyone who's ever known you brings a gift that blesses you for life. Deep in your heart, deep in your soul, now you can start, now you can know. Sing deep in my heart, deep in my heart, my soul, deep in my soul, now I can start. Now I can start, now I can know, now I can know. Like the wind that moves the windmill, you may never see what lifts you still into the heavens, but you will begin to share what's gifted you. Deepen your heart, deepen your soul. Now you can start. Now you can know my heart. Deepen my heart, deepen my soul. Now I can start. Now I can know. For me, love has always been here for me. 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 Thank you. All right, I think I'm on this mic, so we'll do that. All right. So how you doing? Good. You know, yeah. I think it's the pollen. Okay. So when you grew up, when I was in elementary school, if you didn't wear green, you got pinched. Does anyone else know this tradition? Not a lot of people say, "What are you talking about?" But who here knew about the pinching in elementary school? So like half, a third. Yeah, I was just curious. I grew up in Houston, so I don't know if it's regional or what. But well, the title, I don't know if it's up here. Is the title up there? Oh, right. I can talk about whatever I want. No. Now, my talk today is called, it has a title and a subtitle, The Bows of Our Boats, like the front of the boat, The Bows of Our Boats, and the subtitle, Awake in the Adventure. Awake in the Adventure. And I want to look at ways that we can stay awake in our lives. And I often feel like when I'm up speaking to a group, I'm probably not going to tell you anything you haven't heard before. It's like, and especially when there's a church near me where like everyone's like 80, and I feel like they're all sitting there going like, we already know it all. But my goal is maybe I'll say it in a way that even just expands your sense of these truths. So hopefully we'll deepen or just see it from a different angle. I like starting with a joke, so I have a new one for you, and it's about these two old codgers driving down Main Street in this small town. And Dave is driving, and Paul is sitting in the passenger seat. So first of all, show of hands, any old codgers in the audience? Okay. No. So they're going to lunch, and Paul's just sitting there in the passenger seat, and they're going along, and suddenly he notices that Dave just drove through a red light. He says, I'm pretty sure he just drove through a red light. He's thinking to himself, well, maybe I didn't see it right. I won't say anything. And sure enough, Dave drives through a second red light, and Paul says, oh my God, if he does it one more time, I'm going to have to say something. And of course, Dave drives through a third red light, and finally Paul says, listen, Dave, did you realize you've driven through 3 red lights? And Dave says, I'm driving? Awake in the adventure. Awake. Wake up, Dave. So I want to tell you a story about something that happened to me, and I think it expanded my sense of staying awake. And this has to do with a friend of mine who passed away, but I'd known her for 33 years. And we became friends back when both of our kids were 6 months old. They were just like a month apart. And kind of, friends you kind of raised your kids with, they're kind of like family, even though they weren't officially family. And in fact, my son and her daughter still are friends, and they work together in the same company. They've kept the relationship all the way, which is just sweet and fun. So I think of her as kind of my daughter. I didn't have a daughter. And so anyway, this woman's name is Tana. She always liked to say Tana like Montana. And Tana was this brilliant, smart, artistically talented, clever, funny, so many skills, so many talents, and yet she never could quite get her act together. She never quite put her life together. It was always like, it just always felt frustrating and hard, and didn't really get a job thing happening and income and all of it. And you could see it on her face and kind of feel the weight she was carrying of like never quite achieving her potential. And but we loved her and had a great time, and dear friend. A number of years ago, she got a diagnosis that she had cancer, and she dealt with it and treated it, and it went into remission. And then a few years later, it came back again, treated it, dealt with it, went into remission. A few years after that, it came back, and the doctor said, "There's nothing we can do. We can't deal with it, and you have a certain amount of time to live." By this time, I wasn't living super close to her, but I went by to visit, kind of in those last weeks, and it turned out it was 8 weeks before she passed. And I remember when I walked in the door, she looked the best she had ever looked. She was happy. She felt light. Her energy was light. And I was thinking, wow, she's so happy. And my sense was that now that she realized she didn't have to be anything for anybody, including herself. Like she dropped the weight off her shoulders. She let go of any sense of, I have to be something. And I think she finally could just take a breath in her life. And for me, it kind of begs the question, are we doing that? Do we have to be on our deathbed before we'll drop our baggage, before we'll drop our weight, drop the things that are kind of hindering us? Can we take a lesson from Tana that you don't, wow, how much lighter can you feel? And that really is a good question. Do you have to be on your deathbed before you let go? Can you do it now? Is there some way you're like, okay. So 8 weeks later, I get the phone call from a friend that she had passed. And I got it around 5 in the afternoon. So of course, the mulling, and you think about it. And that evening I was, my wife and I went to bed, we're sitting there, heads on the pillows. I remember looking in my wife's eyes, and I began to see this image in my mind and started to hear some lines of poetry. And it was about this whole experience. And the image I saw was like the bow of a boat, cutting through a glassy lake. And for me, this was representing staying awake in this moment. Like the bow is the moment cutting through time. Do you get that? And it's just this visual image that kind of keeps you right in the present moment of what's happening right here. And then I started to hear a few words, and Heidi said, well, I told her what was going on, and she said, well, you want to get up and write those down before you forget them? And so I went and got my piece of paper, started writing the 4 lines I was hearing. Another 4 lines came, another 4, and within a few minutes I had this little poem that kind of was illustrating these thoughts that were coming because of this awareness. And I don't know if you're like this, but when I hear a friend passes, like a high school buddy or something, and I said, and it's also, God, I need to stay awake. I need to remember how precious these moments are. Do you do that? It's like it's like it's a wake-up call when someone passes. And so this was happening too, just like stay awake. And what I want to do is read you the poem that came to me. And first of all, I just want to ask you, have you ever been to a talent show and someone stands up and they say, my talent is I'm going to read you a poem I wrote, and you realize they have 12 pages stapled together in their hand, So this is a little more brief, so in case you're scared. So here's what came to me. We are the bows of our boats, the leading edge of our venture. There's so much down below that you may never see. You know, sometimes when we're with people, you know, maybe there are parts of their lives we don't see. They're kind of like below deck, but we feel them. So much down below you may never see. We are each moment in time the way we face our future. The one you see in these eyes is not my history. And it's an invitation with each person we're with. Can we be with them here and now? Don't, you know, put their history away. How about soul to soul? What's happening right now? Can you be with that? And if you feel some weight, it's holding me together. A ballast, to be sure, for when I hit rough seas. You know, sometimes we're attached to that weight. You know, we're attached to our story. It's like, if I can just hang on to this, I'll be safe, and like I can know who I am. When maybe we're happier letting go of that weight, that supposed ballast that's keeping us secure. But that's not who I am. That weight is not who I am, or barely who I was ever. So catch me if you can in every breath's release. Again, every breath, that brings us back to this moment. Catch me right here. And then finishing up, so may you gleam and may you shine and find your place beyond time. Who we are is beyond the space and time on one level. And may you know that sweet line that is you and not you beyond time. You know, we live in this world and we're not of this world. And there's that line. Can you know both? May you know that sweet line that is you and not you beyond time. So that was my story with Tana. And again, I just love that image. The bow of the boat cutting through that glassy water on a lake. And that represents staying awake as this moment cuts through time. Stay awake. Each breath is another way that we do it. I want to share another story, and this really focuses on stay awake and the adventure. And we're going to look at, are there ways that we kind of dodge our adventures, dodge opportunity? So this particular thing happened when I fly a lot in my work, and you know, I fly to Italy a lot, taking people on tours. I've been to Japan 3 times, you know, a lot of places. And this has to do with my first trip to Japan. It was 1997, so pre-9/11. And I was on a Japan Airlines 747 nonstop San Francisco to Tokyo. And I'll just step back for a second. I grew up in a family. I was one of 4 kids. And our parents had the bright idea that the wallpaper in the kitchen area should be a floor-to-ceiling map of the world. So clever, so fun, because you know we were getting an education just having breakfast, right? And they would play a game with us. They'd say, "Who can find Lisbon, Portugal?" And we'd be looking around. "Who can find Perth, Australia?" You know, and so it was a game, and I got to know the layout of the world. It's a geography lesson without trying, and so here I am on this seat on the plane, and I'm like 8 rows behind the cockpit. And we're about 2.5 hours out over the Pacific. All the shades are down because some people are sleeping, and I'm sitting next to the shade, and at a certain point I think, 2.5 hours out, I wonder if we're over the Aleutian Islands, which I'd always seen on the kitchen wall. And so I went, voot, and there they were, stretching out into infinity like this string of pearls, like, oh my God, and then voot, because I don't want to bother people. A split second later, the Japan Airlines flight attendant came up and said, "Would you like to see that from the cockpit?" I'm thinking, well, we don't do that in our country, but yeah, that'd be great. And so she says, just a second. She walks up and knocks on the door and uses her key and asks in Japanese. And she says, "Come on." So okay. so I walk into the cockpit of the 747, and it's larger than you might think. There's the pilot, co-pilot. Then behind them in the center, a third seat. And it happened to have like this blonde sheepskin draped over it. And they said, "Come on in, have a seat." And so I sit down on the sheepskin, and they raise kind of these green visors so I can stand up real quick and look to the right and the left, see the Aleutians in all directions. They're like these these little volcanic, snow-capped little islands poking out of the sea. And then I sat down for a second, and they said, well, tell us, is it your first time to Japan? Yes, it is. And, well, vacation or working, or what are you doing? Well, a little bit of both. Well, what kind of work do you do? Well, I'm a musician. I'll be doing some concerts and workshops. Oh, what kind of music do you play? And I never know how to answer that. Like folk, spiritual, pop, I don't know. What you tell me afterwards what I play, I don't know. But I said, well, I don't know what to call it, but my guitar is just outside your door in this closet. Would you like to hear a song? He said, yeah, bring it in. So a minute later, I'm sitting on the sheepskin going across the Pacific with my guitar. And I just written this particular song like 2 weeks earlier, so it was in my mind constantly. So it's just the one that came out. And I realized about 2 lines in, I was singing the song of their lives, because it starts out, sometimes I feel like a bird flying over the ocean. This is their life, back and forth, Tokyo, San Francisco. So I finished the song. The younger of the two turns around, looks at me, and he looks kind of mesmerized by now. So I'm thinking, I hope this thing's on autopilot. But and he says, I love that song. I would love my wife to hear that. Are you doing any concerts in Tokyo? I said, yes, I am. And I got his contact info and had someone call him to give him the information. And he and his wife showed up at the concert. And they're sitting on the back row. And so the beautiful thing is when you have a translator helping, you can still tell the story, even though I don't speak Japanese that well, if at all. And I told the whole story of what happened on the plane. And then the punchline got to be, and there on the back row is my Japan Airlines pilot and his wife. And everyone went, ooh, and it was just a grand old time. So let me ask you, what if when the flight attendant had first walked up and said, would you like to see that from the cockpit? What if I'd said, oh, no, I don't want to be a bother, that's okay. None of that would have happened. Just awaken the adventure, for what's coming your way, for the possibilities. I can't tell you how many times, because I can be a real homebody, and people have called, why don't you come over to the party? Well, part of me just wants to stay on the couch, and maybe you know that feeling. But I can't tell you how many times I went ahead and had a great time. It's like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't stay home on the couch. Life is inviting you to things. Are you awake in the adventure for the adventure? Remember that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man, where he was required to say yes to everything that he was asked to do? And it's like, okay, yes. And, you got pulled into crazy situations. But, God's asking you questions all the time. Are you going to say yes more often? And stay awake in your adventure to the possibilities instead of just sitting on the couch. Oh my God. I remember during the pandemic, someone said, well, what did you watch last night? I said, I went looking for something on Netflix for 25 minutes, couldn't find anything, and turned off the TV. It's like, why are we on the couch? We came here to live our lives. And that brings me to another thought of there's a song I wrote, and the lyrics in it really speak to me, and they speak to this. There's a part where the words go, take your time when you're being with people. What's another minute to you? We keep finding ourselves in each other. Make this time precious in all that you do. And the image that comes to my mind with those lyrics is I'm out running. I got 10 errands I got to get done before noon, okay? I'm out in the morning. I'm at the drugstore. I run into somebody I haven't seen in a year, and they want to talk. They want to sit there and chat, and I'm thinking, I got 6 more things to do before noon, until it dawns on me, wait a second. Did I come to Earth to run errands? Is that why we're here? No, it's to connect with each other. It's for what we give and receive. Were you up in heaven, before you came into this life thinking, oh, I can't wait to get to Earth so I can run errands? Make this time precious in all that you do. We're finding ourselves in each other. We're reflecting it, connecting. We're talking about awaken the adventure. Someone asked the Buddha, are you a master? He says, no. Are you a saint? No. Well, what are you? You know what his answer was? I am awake. I am awake. I'm present right here. There's a quote in A Course in Miracles. I want to read it so I get it right. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. And notice the word sense. It's not that you are separate. We find ourselves in a sense of separation, and I think it's because we've left the present moment. I don't think you can, God is only in this present moment. If your mind is wandering off, thinking about the past or worrying about the future, you're not present. And you're not going to find God in your mind wandering off. It's, love happens here. God's presence happens here. Connection happens here on the bow of the boat, cutting through this moment cutting through the water. So that's where connection happens. A sense of separation is the only lack we need correct. Come back to the realization you never were separate. I have another thing I want to share with you, and this kind of dawned on me a few years ago, and I know you've had this experience. Like, let's say you're on a week-long vacation, or you're at a retreat for a week, and just so many activities happen. This is called the pigeonhole effect, by the way. Pigeonholes like in mail rooms where you have all the rows and rows of boxes with envelopes in them. For me, each of those boxes represents a moment and the potential we have with all the moments in our day. So you're at a place for a week, like on vacation. Have you ever done this where after 24 hours, you're chatting with someone else who's there with you, and you say, oh my God, has it only been one day? So much has happened. You know that one? And then there's also the other side of the coin where you've been sitting at your computer and like, oh my God, it's midnight. Time kind of flew by like nothing happened. So the richness of those vacations where you're awake in so many of those moments that you jam so much more into the same amount of time. So it's kind of like all your mailboxes are full of letters. Just, each of those moments was jam-packed with activity and experience and awakeness. And then the other one with almost no letters in it is like you weren't awake for much of that. When you look at your watch, say, oh my God, 4 hours just flew by at the computer. It's like, where did my life go? So our job is to stay awake in those moments, to be awake, to fill them, and you will actually feel like so much more happened during that time. I'll close with one other thought, and this is a dear friend of mine is Alan Cohen. He's a wonderful author and speaker. His big splash book years ago was called The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Not too long ago, he put out a book called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. First of all, I don't believe it, but it's a good title. He might be tongue-in-cheeking on that one. But one title that really speaks to me is, and it has a great message in it, Joy is my compass. Joy is my compass. And to me, it's an invitation to be drawn to things that bring us joy. And as we do that, we're going to be more awake in our lives, because if you're in drudgery and not joy, there's a tendency to want to escape that, not even be present in that. So as we live our lives and want to stay awake and want to feel in our power in what's happening in our lives, can we redirect to where the joy is? Let that be your north arrow. Let that be your north star. Joy is my compass, so that we can stay awake in the adventure on that leading edge of this present moment. Thank you very much.
Yep, me. Thank you, Charlie. What a great, thought-provoking time we just had with you. Good stories, too. So now is the time when we return to the source. Some of our blessings, we call it the offertory. So I would like to invite the ushers to come forward. In so many, many ways, we've been gifted by this experience. Now we return a portion of the good received. And as we embrace the principle of giving as a spiritual practice, if you would take your love offering in your hand or hold it in your vibration if you've already given online or something else. And is it on the screen? Let's repeat our blessing for the offering together. Divine love through me and as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
This is my awakening, my awakening. Sing that with me. This is my awakening, my awakening. This is my awakening, my awakening. This is my awakening, my awakening. Would you be happy if you could run fast? Would you be healed if you could outrun your past? Just breathe it inside you, let it be okay. 'Cause every step has brought you right here today to your awakening. Your awakening. Sing my awakening. This is my awakening, my awakening. This is my awakening, my awakening, my awakening. This is my awakening, my awakening. Life is such a mystery, but life's not just your history. You go much deeper than this time and space. You are much more than that look on your face. Life's a mystery, such a mystery. So ooh the mystery with me. Ooh, 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 we are all woven from so many threads, some of them treasures, others we dread, all dancing inside us, making us grow, cracking us open so we can be shown our awakening. Sing it! Our awakening. This is our awakening. Our awakening. This is our awakening. Our awakening. Our awakening. This is our awakening, our awakening. All right, thank you. Can I just make a quick announcement?
Yes.
Yeah. Just a quick announcement. Come see me at my tape table if you like. Tape table. What decade am I in? There used to be a tape table. I have some CDs with really good discounts. I also, if you want all 18 of my albums, you can get it for $30 on a thumb drive, because most people are digital these days anyway. Works on a lot of the newer cars. Also have flyers for 2 Italy events in the fall. One is my classic tour, 13 days in October, and then in November a spiritual retreat in Assisi for 7 days, followed by a 7-day tour of some great stuff in Italy. So pick up a flyer or take a picture of the flyer, and I'll be there to talk afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you, Charlie. I went last year in October. Amazing. Don't miss it. And so many more opportunities now, so many more places. I would have stayed in Assisi for 2 weeks if I could have. So you got that. Great. Oh, the kids, let's bring them in. As the children are coming in, would the ushers please bring forward the offerings, and we'll bless the offerings and the children all in one.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
So let's bless the offering. We know that we are a prosperous, loving, growing, dynamic community here at Unity of Gainesville, and as we give, we receive multiplied. So it is. And Miss Gwen, tell us about the children.
It was Girls' Day. And we talked about the story we had last week, Obiah's well, and we remembered how he helped the animals. We've been talking about compassion this month, and he helped the animals. Remember, he went to the well to get water for his mom, but on the way back, he gave the hedgehog some of it. He gave the, what else? Hyenas and the ant bear. Anteater. When he got back, his mom was so mad because there was no water in the clay jug. And so he had to go to bed that night and listen to his mom cry. And then in the night, he heard the scratching on the door. And he went and looked, and there was the ant bear, digging, digging. And the little hedgehog and the hyenas would take the dirt away, and they dug a well right by his house so his mother and all the other women didn't have to walk miles and miles and miles for water. And we talked about, would those animals have come and dug him a well if he hadn't been so kind on the way and gave them water? And then we talked about a fella in Ireland named St. Patrick's and how we have a special day just for him. So we made a leprechaun, so be careful on your way out. You may see one. And we found out that he's the reason Ireland has no snakes. Sorta. But we talked about how the snakes would have to swim to get to the island. So maybe he had a little help by that.
So let's bless these children. Stand up if you like. Rub your hands together. These two little girls represent all the children in Gainesville, in the world, in the universe. And so we bless all of them in this moment as we repeat this blessing. Children, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we see the Christ presence within you. We love you. We love you. We really, really love you. Mwah. And so now we make a circle all around the room and sing our peace song. And as we're doing that, remember that there's a little snack and then there's a concert. And while that's happening, there's a prayer circle down the hall. So take advantage of all of that. And I'll see you here for the concert.
Okay, can we make it all the way around? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Well, sometimes she said, "Hey, you're in between me and my mom."